All right, we got a few recaps to do. This is the recap for Tuesday, July 14th. Yeah, I was pretty busy with exams, so while I did, trade, that obviously is a priority. Doing the recaps right away is not. So it's like, what day is today? It's Thursday, before New York session. So yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Tuesday, what happened on Tuesday? I mean, I've got this chart replayed here. And I'm gonna have to look. All right, yeah. So essentially, we have these very suspect daily highs sitting up here. And then on Tuesday we had CPI. So the CPI release pushed us higher here. Now we did have these relative equals down here, and essentially we had like a clean draw on liquidity up here, and a clean draw on liquidity down here. Overall, though, I was more bullish than bearish, definitely. And yeah, I was probably going to try and look for a continuation trade. That was kind of my thought process going into the day. Yeah, the 950 macro was just kind of ugly. After the 950 macro, we then reverse higher while putting in basically another relative equal low down here, which, I mean, I guess that's kind of just like what the price action that's kind of just, yeah, what price is feeling like. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not in high probability conditions, so we're going to put in just another relative equal and not run these lows, engineering this liquidity for a later point in time. Um, yeah, which now that I'm recording this back a few days after, I actually know for when that was. But yeah, that's not that important today. Basically, from there, like, we had kind of reversed higher ish, but then we left this long wick. We had like a slight consecutive candle SMT here with YM going into the 1050 macro, which was kind of like the only trade idea in this day, if I remember correctly, for like the long. The 1150 macro didn't really do anything. And then afterwards, we were just chopping with also nothing. So overall, like, also one of the reasons I waited was it was just such a boring day. Um, is this Wednesday? No, this is Tuesday. Yeah, there were like potential long setups on the 15 minute when we were like crawling up here, but like they all just didn't really move me. So I just didn't take anything. I tried to get a long, I think this long is the one I took on the Lucid accounts because it was like technically not valid because it was like a pre macro close. But I was just like, let's see if we can get anything, and eventually got break evened on that. But yeah, like the only kind of trade idea here was like when we had that initial push higher after the retrace down here in that 1050 macro. I had initially seen this as a very nice breaker that we could use. Like before we made this, like when we were pushing down here at 1047, I was thinking, maybe that's going to be something. We had a consecutive candle SMT at this short-term low essentially, which I actually did end up holding on just barely, but like at this point in time, it was a little more obvious. So like 1048 here, if we could have had like 1049 and then a 1050 close above, that would have been very beautiful for longs. The issue here was like if you're looking at this as a breaker, well, I guess the first issue would have been it doesn't get retraced to, but the second issue is there's never a short-term low here, and this bearish order block, right, 1049, 1050 candles, they don't take out any short-term lows either, so it's not actually a valid 1-minute order block or breaker. And this is still the valid breaker with low, high, lower, low, and then the close above. But this one was a little too big for my liking, 78 points. Right. I'd have to risk more than I was than I want to take this. And I mean the setup really was not that good, so I was kind of hesitant to do so. Um, in the end, I think this would have barely hit TP, like barely, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, by like a tick or two. Um, but again, like I don't know. I felt like the framework was okay. The fact that there were these lows down here made it to where I was not like super confident in taking a, extended stop, risking more than I would like. Like if it's a super, super great setup, I might do it. And then also the consecutive candle SMT was like barely even an SMT anymore at that point. Yeah, I don't know. Weird day, in my opinion, but not a weird day, but like a iffy setup. So I decided to not end up taking it. Basically. Yeah. And yeah, as you can see after that, it's kind of just more chop than anything else. And I mean, that's basically the trade day. There was one potential setup there at 1050. Other than that, just a whole lot of nothingness, which just is, fitting for the price action we've had these past few weeks, especially this week. It's very, very slow. So yeah,